Hi guys, welcome back to Ben Shows. You heard about my other show, Daisy and Dexter. Now I think it's time to move on. After I get done with making Daisy and Dexter in the future, all great animators, in my opinion, have two great shows they're known for. And here's one I'm going to be known for. Very own superhero show, Cunning Cat. Cunning Cat is about Paul Feline, who is married and living with his wife, and his wife just gives birth to a baby. When they move to a new home, their house is ambushed by gangsters led by a mob boss called Great White. Great White murders Cunning Paul's wife, Cindy. That's her name. Can't keep track of my own characters, and Paul Feline is not in the middle of all this because he is at work, working overtime. He works as an animator. And when he comes home, he finds his wife dead and his daughter spared. What does he do? Well, he moves out of that house and feels like he needs to avenge the wife of Cindy. So what does he do? He becomes the superhero known as Cunning Cat. And from now on, he feels it's his duty to protect the city of Mega City from villains all over the place. Then, a couple years go by, and Cunning Cat is still on the job. He works as an animator by day, and he fights crime by night. Crystal Feline is his daughter, and she's just a typical spoiled brat, but well, she's not exactly a spoiled brat. She's a pretty smart girl for her age, and Cunning Cat wants to make sure that she grows up perfectly and wants to protect her because she's all he's got. And Cunning Cat is a very great superhero, he's like a smart aleck superhero. He cracks jokes a lot when it comes to what he does. And so anyway, what good is a superhero without great villains? And Cunning Cat has a crap load of them. But I forgot. Before we get to his villains, I have to get to his close friends. His close friend is Danny Dog, who is his best friend. And when Paul is busy, Danny Dog takes care of Crystal for Paul. So, there's even one episode where Danny becomes Cunning Cat's sidekick, but he doesn't do a good job of that. So anyway, okay, let's get on to the villains, and Cunning Cat has a lot of them. There's a Great White I told you about, the mob boss that's responsible for Cindy's death. Then there's a Squeaker, a mouse whose voice is so high it could break the sound barrier, and she uses that to rob jewelry stores. Disc Jockey. The Disc Jockey is an obsessed music fan, and he really wants to be a singer, but when he enters a talent contest, he is turned down and made fun of because he is a bad singer. So what does he do? He gets his turntables and gets revenge on those who said he was bad, and he takes his anger out on famous singers that he dislikes. Then there's a Black Hawk, who is a retired college professor who was obsessed with superstition. His powers are basically superstitious and all that, and that's basically it. And I'm sorry I don't have any pictures of all these villains, but that would be a lot of drawing, so I'll let you guys use your imagination for this. Then there's a Gumwad. He's a bear who worked at a gum factory, but when they tested out a new gum formula, he fell in a vat of gum that was mixed with radioactive material, so he turned into a wad of gum and became a supervillain because of that. Then there's Macho Libre, a professional wrestler who's a rooster that cheats all the time. He is like juiced up on illegal growth hormone drugs. Since this is going to be kind of a kid show, I can't say steroids or something like that. So he uses that to win every match, and he is everybody does, and it's Cunning Cat's job to make sure that Macho Libre does not go mad, because the stuff that Macho Libre takes to get strong can causes Macho to go on fits of rage. Then there's a Mecha Cat, who was built by some other villains. We'll get to them later, to get rid of Cunning Cat. The different Mecha Cat is a very interesting, and because he is a robot that has like human emotions. He's a robot, but he doesn't act like it. He acts more like a human than a robot. So that's what I like about Mecha Cat. And Mecha Cat, Gumwa, Disc Jockey, Macho Libre, and Blackhawk all form together to be the Legion of Evil, which is a group. They're basically a group of supervillains trying to stop Cunning Cat. They didn't stop him. They didn't stop him by themselves. They'll probably just join up. Okay, on to his other villains. Other villains are Fangs, who is a Hungarian vampire bat who has fangs made of steel, and he sucks blood out of innocent civilians to stay alive. He is like 200 years old. Then there's Blades, who is a praying mantis with arms made out of blades, made out of metal. So that's why he's called Blades. Then there's Chainsaw, a Canadian beaver. That's a lumberjack whose tooth is made out of metal. Blades, Chainsaw, and Fangs all form together to be VED, the villains for the elimination of do-gooders. VED is the group that built Mecha Cat. So, okay, on to more villains. There's Animator, who's one of Paul Feline's former employees who gets fired, and since Paul works at an animation studio, Animator uses a giant pencil to like make reality and cartoonality mix, and all craziness breaks loose. Then there's a Infest the Flea, who is basically a little flea who's trying to take over the world, and he has a whole army of fleas to help him do it. Then there's Cat Bat, who used to be a professor, a cat professor who was trying to figure out how cats could fly, so he put a bat's genes inside of him, which turned him into a cat bat, half cat, half bat. Then there's Witch Doctor, who is a witch doctor that he's basically just a witch doctor who does typical witch doctor crimes. Then there's Reptilian, who is basically a former sewer worker who was bit by a bunch of radioactive reptiles, so he got mixed into his genes, and he turned into a big reptilian-like thing. Takes his revenge out on. He works in the sewers, doing whatever he wants to. Then there's Shadow, who is Cunning Cat's real shadow, who's actually a villain and causes Cunning Cat to go through a lot of mental drama and all that. Finally, there's Shade, who is a snake who's blind and is mad about it, so she uses the power of darkness to take it out on the people who can see. Well, basically that's Cunning Cat. It's not your typical superhero show. I feel that it's a superhero show that that has like my own style, and I feel like out of all the superhero shows out there, I feel like making my own. I can add something new to the superhero genre. So until next time, I'm Ben, and I'm signing out.